Hi, Biodun Ogunyemi, founder of Optimine Method and creator of Dream Yourself Thin. And today I want to share with you what are the obstacles that could stop you from achieving your goal. So in other words, if you've been struggling to lose weight or you've been struggling to achieve your goal in terms of changing your shape, well, what are the external obstacles that can actually stop you? In other words, if internally you know exactly where you're going, you know exactly a method to get there, a roadmap, but then again, what's the external things that you should be aware about that can stop you in your tracks? Now, the very first thing is, the way that most people know how to lose weight or to change their shape is by dieting. And this is one of the number one things that can stop you from actually achieving your goal. So the very first obstacle is chronic dieting. And as we can see here, chronic dieting is the very first thing that will stop you from achieving your goal. Basically what happens is there's a part of your mind that, for whatever reason, when you decide to go on another diet because you've been on so many diets before, there's a part of your mind that probably says, well, this is just another diet, hopefully it'll work this time. But based on your past experience and your past maps over the years, then dieting hasn't worked. So at some level there's conscious resistance. In other words, there's a part of your mind that's probably got resistance and saying, well, I don't think this will really work, but you know what? I'll give it a try. And chronic dieting, the other thing about chronic dieting, constantly dieting, losing weight, putting weight back on, eventually your body gets used to it. So your body can pick up the message that, well, this is just another diet and it's not a lifestyle change. So that's the number one of the first things that you should be aware of externally that can affect you in terms of achieving your goal. Moving on from that, the next one is stress. Now, in some shape or form, everybody experiences stress in life. And the stress you experience on a day-to-day basis, ask yourself, well, how can you control that stress? Because you can never eliminate stress completely. But if your body is going through stressful situations, then it's very difficult to be focused on losing weight or focused on changing your shape. So by managing that stress, by having techniques, by having ways of managing that stress, it can really make a difference. Because let's face it, when everything's going well and you feel a lot less stressed, things tend to work out the way you want them. So again, it's managing your stress and being in control. And that's the second thing, the second external thing. The next external thing that people experience from time to time, and we all experience this at some stage during our life, you might experience some form of trauma. Now, when I say some form of trauma, that could be a death in the family. It could be some form of other trauma that people, maybe somebody's experienced a trauma years and years ago when they were younger. And at some level, they've not let go of the guilt, the anger, the sadness, or anything else, the conflict that can be holding them back. In other words, there's a conflict going on within. And in order to move on, in order to let go of those feelings, those negative feelings that you might be experiencing, then you really need to deal with that at some level. Traumatic situation could be having a parent die or having a grandparent die, and being really close to that parent and having gone through a period whereby now you're still experiencing the sad feelings of that loss, and that could be affecting you even today. So again, it's looking into these past events and saying, well, how can we address these? How can you move on from these? How can you let go of this? And by letting go of that, again, that can really help you to change your shape, to lose weight, and to find that you can actually really start this process and really finish the process off. So in other words, not just lose the weight, but keep it off. The next thing is, which we need to pay attention to at times, is nutrition. Now, in terms of nutrition, everybody has different ideas regarding nutrition, but if you think about it this way, your body's made up of 70% water. Your body actually knows what's good for it already. I mean, everybody knows that if you're eating an abundance of fresh vegetables and salad, that's generally good for you. But let's face it, not everybody likes fresh vegetables, not everybody likes salads. However, the other thing is that if you don't like those specific things, then what level of adequate nutrition are you putting into your body? So the number one thing that you should be focusing on, or focusing on cutting out, or certainly reducing, is sugar. Too much sugar in the body can cause all sorts of imbalances. So taking in an adequate amount of water is another thing. So again, there's so many different ideas, different opinions regarding nutrition, but at the end of the day, you need to really listen to your body and know that at some level, you already know what you should be having or what's good for you and what isn't. And it's really paying attention to that. In terms of proteins, carbohydrates, well, as long as you're doing everything in moderation, then it's absolutely fine. You see, when you cut something out completely and you say, I'm never, ever, ever having that again, it can either be because you desire that and it's completely congruent with the decision you've just made, or it's because you're forcing yourself to avoid it. And if you're forcing yourself to avoid it, then at some level further down the line, you might find that that will no longer work. So again, it's paying attention to that. The next thing would be in terms of your digestive system. Poor digestion. If for whatever reason you're not digesting your food properly, then again that could affect you in terms of your weight loss goals, in terms of actually moving along on this journey. And we've all seen examples of that. If you ever watch any programs on TV where there's an appeal for certain countries where there's famines going on, well, you can see that there's people there, and for whatever reason you can see that there's inadequate nutrition or there's a poor digestive system, and that's when you see the swelling of the stomach. So again, making sure that your digestive system is operating properly can really make a difference, because then you don't have as much retention in terms of water, and in terms of salt, in terms of anything else that's not benefiting you in this goal. The next thing is toxicity within the body. When I say toxicity within the body, that could be in terms of what do you do when you go out socially? You know, how much alcohol do you put into your system? For some people, they might find that they have an excess, they're taking excessive amounts of alcohol. Now, if you're taking in excessive amounts of alcohol, then it's affecting the way you feel, it's affecting your pH balance within the body. So again, it's paying attention and saying, you know, how much of this can I either cut out, or how much of this can I either cut down? If you're having 2 glasses of wine every couple of days, why not say, well, what if I have just half a glass of wine every other day, or if I have 1 glass of wine instead of 2 glasses of wine? And really pay attention to your body so that you try as much as possible to keep those pH balances level, and you'll find that you have more energy, you'll feel better about yourself, and that will help you on this journey. The next thing, number 7, which to me is a really, really big one, is you can be aware of all these things here, every single one of these, in terms of externally, chronic dieting, stress, trauma, nutrition, poor digestion, toxicity within the body. However, if you actually genuinely believe at some level that you cannot achieve this goal because, for example, it's genetics, or because it runs in the family for whatever reason, or because you believe you've got a slow metabolism, then that's the thing that can stop you completely. Because half the time, most people don't actually get started, or they start and they fall off tracks because they decide, well, it's too difficult, I can't do it. Now, the interesting thing, you don't always need to rely on willpower, and it's being aware of all these. And limiting beliefs change. Your limiting beliefs are formed based on your map of the world, based on what's happened to you as you've been growing up. Certain things have created in your mind certain beliefs, but they can be changed, and they're different from your values. So again, limiting beliefs is a big one, because once you believe that you can achieve it, then you start making the necessary arrangements to make it happen. The next one for some people is, it could be medical reasons. They could be on a type of medication, and that type of medication could be interfering with the pH balances in the body, or it could be interfering with how they feel, in terms of whether it causes them to eat more, or whether it causes swelling in the body. So again, being aware, if you're on any medication, what are the side effects of that medication, and really being aware of that as you commence this journey, because that can really have an impact. And number 9 on the list, and this list by no means is exhaustive, because there's other things I've just chosen 9 of the obstacles, 9 of the main obstacles that could really stop you from achieving this goal, based on research that I've done and based on people that I've spoken to. Poor sleep. There's a number of people that suffer from insomnia, and insomnia or a poor, inadequate sleep or poor sleep can actually have a major impact, because you probably don't function at your best. You probably feel tired most of the day, and when you feel tired, sometimes that could lead to stress. That could lead to trying to make yourself feel better by eating things that aren't really good for you, such as chocolate or biscuits, and when I say chocolates or biscuits, I mean eating them in excess. You know, a lot of the time the body can crave sugar if you've not had much sleep, and you find that your sugar levels are low. You might find that you're eating more. So again, poor sleep can have a major impact, because it can impact you at all sorts of levels, in terms of how you feel about yourself, in terms of it can impact on your whole day, it can impact on your energy levels. And it's really considering these 9 obstacles, from chronic dieting to stress to trauma to having the right adequate nutrition, taking into account your digestive system, whether you're digesting your food well, toxicity within the body in terms of the alcohol intake or any other substance that could be affecting you in any way, limiting beliefs which can stop you immediately. Even if you are aware of all these, if you still believe at some level, well, I don't know if I can achieve this. Medication could be affecting you. It could be making you put on some weight, lose some weight. And last but not least, number 9 is poor sleep. Now, if you're aware of all these when you begin your journey, and you really pay attention to some of these that could be impacting, it could have impacted you in the past if you've lost weight and ended up putting it back on. And so that when you're ready and you say, right, okay, I'm ready to go on this journey, and I'm ready to change for the better, I'm ready to change over the long term, I'm ready to change the way I think. Because if you change the way I think, it's all about changing from the inside, and then the outside will follow. But also being aware of all the external circumstances that could be impacting on you. So I hope you found this useful, and until next time, I'll see you soon. Thanks.